52.
52. Queen vibes. This is G_Focus, and I'm on the mic. We also have
Stefdotnet.
Stefdotnet in the building. My beautiful, friendly, intelligent co-host. We are here to bring to you guys the place where we talk about black culture. We talk about all the things that is hottest on the internet. We are going to tell you guys about what we're going to talk about on today's show. But first, I want to ask you guys for a huge favor. If you are watching the show on YouTube, or if you are listening via Apple Podcasts, all those things, what I need you to do is to go to YouTube, type in Reverb Experiment Podcast, and like and subscribe, please. Please, please, please. And if you want to stay connected to us via conversation, or if you want to get in contact with us, reverbexp.com. Follow us on Instagram, where we are always active. It be going up on the Instagram.
It go up on Instagram.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
And the group.
The group. Or you can follow us on the Reverb Nation, where we also are very active on a daily basis. Both of those links will be in the description, so that way it'll be easy for you to just click it and go there. But the best way to support us right now is to like and subscribe on the YouTube, so that way we can get to 1,000 subscribers. That's what we're trying to do. So if you like what we do, if you love that we're talking about black culture, if you love that we have not sold out, if you love that we've done everything from the ground up and we have had no help from nobody else outside of the people that have been involved in the podcast, meaning there's no money from nobody that's not black, there's nobody that's not black that has been touched or involved in the podcast, please support us by doing so. We would greatly appreciate it.
Definitely.
All right. Now we're going to get into the show. So today we're going to talk about the queens.
All the queens.
All the queens. Because we feel like that we should appreciate black women, not just during Black History Month, not just during Mother's Day, but we should appreciate black women all year long. So we are going to talk about Queen Elizabeth's death. We are going to talk about new music. Ari Lennox, Nicki Minaj dropped a remix. There are some other records that did drop, but we're going to just talk about the women today, okay? Because Bryson Tiller dropped the bop too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he coming. I can tell he coming, but we're going to talk about just the women today. We are also going to talk about Careesha and Saweetie. They had a dope interview, dope podcast. We love supporting other podcasts.
I love Careesha.
She's doing a great job on her podcast, on the Revolt. I see the little connection. I was wondering what her and Diddy were doing.
At the beginning, I was like, wait, is this Diddy's music video, or did I click the wrong thing?
It's Diddy's music video. Plus, they were promoting his new tequila too.
Yeah, I seen that.
They were drinking his tequila. So
I was like, okay.
I can tell that it's a little dope. It's a dope partnership, and I can see why he's doing it, because she's hot with the young women, right? I think she's only 28. Yeah. So she's dope. I love her. It was great insight. So we're gonna actually react to that podcast, some of the clips, and we're gonna talk about that. So again, we appreciate y'all for listening. This is the podcast where we talk about black music, black culture, everything that's hot on the internet. So without further ado, we're gonna get right on into it, and we're gonna talk about new music.
Man,
Ari Lennox. Woo-wee. Hold on, let me give a round of applause.
We need to insert that clip of what I said last episode. I said she was finna clear. I said Ari Lennox is finna drop and she finna clear everybody.
Yeah. No, it was I think that she dropped at the perfect time.
Yes.
I love the album. We're gonna get into it. So look, the way this is gonna go, for those that have been following us since the beginning, we had an It's a Bop segment. So we are not even gonna rate the album. It's either It's a Bop or It's a Flop, and then we're gonna talk about why we liked it, standout tracks, etc., etc., etc. So Ari Lennox's sophomore album, Age, Sex, Location, which hits some nostalgia for me.
Exactly.
Because I was an AIM baby. You know what I'm saying? I was a Yahoo chat baby. I was on all them chats.
Exactly.
So
she won my heart right there. I was like, she know what she doing. She know what she doing. And I think it's the little details like that that's just real, genuine, and authentic. I like that about her.
And we've had conversations about artists. Ari Lennox is an artist.
Yeah, you can tell like she really puts a lot of thought and a lot of time. I mean, if you go through the tracks, baby, she wrote on every single one.
Yes.
So I appreciate that.
And I love that the album actually had a theme behind it, right?
Yes.
So age, sex, location. First song is POF. For those that have been doing online dating, you know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of fish. All right. And then all throughout, it is themed. It's themed. So I'm gonna give it to you because Steph, you've been an Ari Lennox champion from the beginning. How did you like the album? Do you think that it stood up to the hype? Because let me just say this, because sophomore albums are difficult.
I think they are. I think what ended up happening with Ari is, of course, everybody goes through those growing pains with the labels. I think she had some issues in the background part of it. And then she also had to deal with the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like she was just getting ready to start touring and all of that with Shea Butter Baby, and we ended up in the pandemic.
That's true.
What she was saying was, what people don't realize is that the artists make their money off of touring.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily make your money off of the album sales. So if you can't tour, you ain't making no money. So she kind of was in a place like, why am I going to make money for the label and I can't even get out here and get my coins?
Right.
I want to put my music out when I could actually tour and get my bag. So I felt her on that. And then, because she said, she was like, I'm ready to get these songs out. Like, she been sitting on
a lot of songs. Yeah, and she dropped the EP.
Right.
Which most artists, the songs on the EP end up being on the album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Only one of the songs on her EP ended up on her album.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. I like that she had content to put out, and the EP was dope too.
You could tell she been in the studio.
Yes.
Like, she's like, I have hella music to put out.
Yes.
I'm putting it out, period.
Yes.
I appreciate it as a fan.
Yeah.
She didn't have to give us that EP.
No.
She didn't.
No, she didn't.
And she was like, just a little something to hold you over. I'm like, okay, girl. Like, it got me.
It was like a little care package, yeah.
Right. Got me even more ready. I think for me on this album, I like the vibe of it. I love the content. I feel like if you follow Ari Lennox and you like follow her on her social medias, like, she's very active. It really represents like all the stuff that she be talking about and what she be going through and all of that. So I think that's dope. I want to say standout tracks for me, I think, was Waste My Time.
Waste My Time was dope.
I love that one. I did love Boy Bye with Lucky Day. I like
Boy
Lucky
Bye
Day.
was one of my standout tracks as well.
It was it Stop By?
Stop By was nice. I like Leak It too.
Oh yeah, that was like the last one. I like that.
That's one of the last. That's track number 10.
Yes. So I feel
I like Blocking You too. There was only
yes, I love that one. Blocking You on Everything.
The only one I did not like was Outside.
I liked Outside.
And it wasn't like a bad not like. It's just one of those ones that I gotta let it grow on me.
I liked it. I think I liked the lyrics, like what she was talking about.
Yeah.
I
think sonically, it was sounding like it was supposed to be like a summer record, and that one's gonna have to I'm gonna have to let that one grow on me.
I only got to listen to it like 1.5 times through, because I listened to it and then I went back to the ones that stood out to me.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know how it is. Like you was saying, like people be too quick
to consume it.
You gotta let it marinate.
Well, and then for those that are listening or watching, we record this Friday. So then when these albums come out, we've only listened to it. This is like initial reaction. So when you guys listen to this podcast, it'll be Monday or Wednesday. So you would have already had almost a week with it. This is our initial reaction the first day that it came out. So yeah. I'm
happy for her though. I think she's getting the love and the respect that I feel like people thought she wasn't getting. But we got to stop calling every artist underrated though, because I feel like it kind of does them a disservice.
I think she's underappreciated.
I could say that.
I think underappreciated, but I think her being signed to Cole, I think puts her in the category of like kind of being under the radar, but putting out quality content. Like I think the record labels did kind of screw her over, but
I think they don't know how to market certain people.
I don't think you have to market her.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing. Like, I think we've been seeing a lot more lately of people saying, like, you got to put out content. Like, you are the content. Like, just be yourself. I think we getting more into that era of everything not having to be curated and packaged a certain way.
I think it's coming back full circle where authenticity is becoming what's good now. Like, what is desirable to people.
Exactly.
I appreciated the album. I love R&B. I love Ari Lennox because she has an old soul. Like, for those that are not familiar with Ari Lennox, she sounds more like a Erykah Badu, She is kind of in that like Lauryn Hill as far as content wise, like very much substance. And I just appreciated just the content of the album, talking about online dating, talking about relationships just in general. Mm-hmm. Obviously, R&B is heavily in that vein, but it wasn't all set. It was transparent. It was authentic. It was transparent. It's what she was dealing with, the highs, the lows. I love the range, and I can tell that it was her stamp. I can also tell that, along with the Erykah Badu influence, I'm really big on, like, my dad was really into jazz when I grew up. Mm-hmm. So instruments, the sounds, the sonic bags that she's in. Mm-hmm. So it is very neo-soul-ish, but modern R&B as well.
Yeah, like if you go on there, it says R&B soul.
Yeah.
It's an R&B soul album for
R&B
sure.
soul, for sure. So for those that were like, is R&B dead? This was like a answer to that.
R&B may not be dead, but I'm going to stand on the fact that the women is carrying it. I'm sorry. I feel like that way.
I don't know.
There's a lot of male R&B artists out there, but as far as like,
I just think R&B is not marketed. I'm going back to what I was saying. When it's not labeled as toxic, when it's not shock value, it just doesn't get marketed as well as some of the other records do. I don't know what it is.
This whole album, she didn't really have no love songs on it. It's technically, if you really wanted, this was a toxic R&B album on the lowest of keys. She just makes it sound good. That's why it was funny to me when people were comparing her to Chloe Bailey and saying like, oh, Chloe's getting all the shine because she's talking about sex. I'm like, baby, do you listen to Ari or you just listen to her voice? Because if you listen to the lyrics, she talking about the same shit.
Yeah, see, but I give Ari bail, or I give her credit because I don't hear this from her all the time.
Shea Butter Baby, yeah, she was talking about the same shit.
Talking about throughout that whole album?
A lot of it.
No, but what I'm saying is, like
if I pop this pussy, like she be talking about the same thing.
But it's range though. So even on the album, right? It's not all toxic. It's not all toxic.
Even
records,
on Shea, she talked a lot about ain't shit niggas, a lot about one night stands, like, and that's the thing. I feel like how you present it, because she gives you that Erykah Badu neo soulish, like people are just automatically think, oh, it's deep. Like, no, she is talking about the same topics. She really is. Like, and I listened to all of her EPs, Backseat, like everything. Like, she's still talking about the same things that these other girls is talking about. That's why it's just, to me, I think, again, the way that it's packaged, it's an R&B soul, but it's still ratchet.
See, but I wouldn't call it, and I think that's where I disagree. I wouldn't call it ratchet because I just think it's authentic. Like when the album is basically age, sex, location, what I'm thinking is you're talking about dating. You're talking about online dating. You're talking about meeting men. You're talking about this. And we all talk about the struggles of men and women meeting each other on an online dating website. So
no, I get it. I just feel like the way that it's packaged, it's more digestible, yeah, and people treat it differently than Chloe Bailey coming out with Treat Me or Have Mercy, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, all they talk about is sex. And I'm like, it's the same topics. That's why I really respect the fact that she put Chloe on this album, because people really tried it and she shut that down immediately.
Yeah. But you also gotta I think you should always look at it too as how are you marketing it? Because I think that's really what it is. Because the single that she led with was Queen Space, wasn't it?
No, Pressure.
And
that was
sorry. But then Queen Space.
Come on now.
But then Queen Space followed.
I mean, but if you really even listen to that song, it's still some of the same, No,
I know, but it's not the same record over and over again. It's different pieces of her. It's different times. And I think that's what makes, to me, a good album is I can look at a time and place and say, okay, I can say that you are going through this. Because a lot of people, I really feel like a lot of this music was probably written or recorded or produced during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people had no choice but to go online and try to, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So
I'm with it. Again, like you said, I love it, but I just wanted to point that out.
I understand what you're saying.
So.
And again, I think we're both saying the same thing. It is how it's marketed and how it's packaged. But I feel like if you are always marketing one type of record, then I think that's where people have the issue. Is if that's all I hear from you is that. Okay, what else do you have? Are you trying to, like, because you really, as an artist, you are telling a story. You are trying to send across a message. And I think, what message are you trying to tell us? Or are you just sharing how you feel?
I think people also need to listen more to lyrics. I think people don't really, I feel like people only listen to hooks and they're not really getting deep into the lyrics, because I'm like, some of the songs that people like, it's the same song. I'd be like, but did you really listen to it? Because it really ain't. And it really did have more range than I feel like people be trying to give credit for.
Like what?
Just, and even like with Chloe Bailey's music, even with like Nicki, like, Nicki be having bars, but it'd be like, because the hook is about sex, that's all people hear.
Well, I mean, if you title the track Super Freaky Girl, I mean, yeah. So. He must have took that indica.
Okay. Y'all ain't here, but Coach Digo on the side sleeps snoring loud as hell.
All right. Speaking of Nicki.
Yeah, since I done brought Nicki back up.
Since you brought Nicki back up, I'm going to let you go ahead and lead with this one. So,
Super Freaky Girl remix. Now, wait, hold on. I got to look at the list because she had quite a few people on this remix. I know she had Bia, Akbar V, JT, Malibu Mitch, and it was, I want to say it was somebody else. She got a lot of the rap girls together for this remix, and I respect that. I really do. Oh, Katie Got Bands. That's who I forgot. So, yeah. JT, Bia, Katie Got Bands, Akbar V, Malibu Mitch for the Super Freaky Girl remix. I feel like all of the girls stepped. I think Nicki had to do a record like this because there's been so much talk about Nicki not being supportive of the other rap girls.
Other women, yeah.
But in actuality, I feel like she has.
Well, you know what's ironic is she said the same thing about Lil Kim when she was coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? No. Let me be fair. Lil Kim, she did not say that. Her fans and people around her basically said that she was not welcomed in, like, the women, like, you know what I mean? Like, women sit together. Like, it was never that for her. So then people are like, well, then why should she do it for other people? So that never came out of her mouth.
I think with Nicki, I think with female rap in general, and I've said this many times, I don't understand why they feel like all female rappers have to be friendly. Like, we don't expect that really of male rappers. Like, rap is competitive. So I don't understand, like, with the women rappers, why it has to be all this kumbaya. Like, I get the fact that it is harder. Right. So women should want to, you know, stick together and, like, help each other up because it is harder for them in that industry.
Right.
But, I mean, come on, it's still rap at the end of the day.
I think because, I don't know. You know what? I don't even got to answer to that. I don't even know.
Do you feel
because I feel like there's two trains of thought. There's either the train of thought that women should be friendly, or there's a train of thought that is kind of like, it's like a crab in a bucket where, like, we feel like we say black people, like, we compete like there's only one piece of the pie. So I think it's like because there's so much gatekeeping, not enough female rappers get shine or get an opportunity to. So I think majority of them are kind of pushed to compete when a lot of times it doesn't need to be that. So I think when they're saying, like, I think they're trying to buck against that system and saying, well, hey, we see that it's unfair, that it's male dominated. You got in. Why don't you pull other people through and give them the opportunity so that way we all can have a good opportunity? Yeah. You know what I mean?
I agree. But I see both sides of it. But I think it's too much of a microscope for the women where they, you know, nitpick every single thing. Like, well, like Drake could say something about Kanye. Like, we let them beef every single time their album is finna drop.
But it's because there's more men in the game than there is women. Yeah, so I think
I just feel like the women are under more of a microscope, or they're like, everybody's like, Nicki is a bully, she's this, she's that. I'm like, where's this bullying talk when the male rappers is beefing?
Well, because it's expected of men to do that.
Yeah, see? Again, like I said.
Well, because men are generally more competitive.
And rap is competitive. So you're not just talking about all of rap is competitive, whether you female or male. So I think people kind of forget that when they're looking at the
absolutely.
female rappers. I definitely am here for the unity. I'm not saying I'm against it. I just feel like it's a little bit pushed too hard on them to have to be best friends. Like, everybody ain't gonna.
That's true. I think just because of the women empowerment movement, I think they're expected to say, okay, look, we need to band together to do better. Kind of like, kind of akin to the South, right? So when, I don't even want to even say when it started, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, right? It was New York dominated.
Yeah.
And it was West Coast dominated. And then, you know, started when Andre 3000 went on the Source Awards and said, hey, the South got something to say. And that kind of lit a fire. And then the South all banded together and they all worked together until they were the dominant of the...
Man, they had a run.
So that's what I'm saying. I think that's what people are expecting. Like, yo, we need to band together because it's not us against each other. It's we want women artists to have more shine.
But you know what's so funny though is like people will push like all the female empowerment and question why they not best friends, but all they do is try to put them against each other.
Exactly, and that's what crazy. I'm saying. It's not fair because let's just be honest. Nicki does not, even though she's an incredible artist, she's a pop star, all that. She does not get to make all the decisions when it comes to her music.
Yeah,
she may be able to demand it. But she cannot.
She got a better foot to stand on.
But she has influence. Yes. Let's say. And I think that's what they're asking Nicki to use her influence for the betterment of women. Same wing with Beyonce. I know that's always been a knock on her. Was you preach power? That you preach women empowerment, but are you empowering other women artists? Because they always point to the Anne-Marie, the
Carrie Hilsons
and all the other stuff, and then it's like, you're not using your influence for?
Because if we think like female collabs that Beyonce has done with other, I mean, she did Nicki.
Well, you know what? I'm not a Beyonce fan, so I can't speak to it. The only one I can think of off the top of my head would be Nicki.
And then she did oh my God, what's that girl name? Lady Gaga. I mean, but then when
it comes to black women, who has she?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think she did Shakira. Again, when it comes to black women, who she really...
But all of those made sense because they were all at the top of their game at the time.
So again, for her benefit. But who are you bringing up?
Correct.
I mean, she got Chloe, but I mean, even then, it's like she signed to her, but that ain't no...
Well, and she could be doing a lot of behind the scenes things that we don't see.
That's true.
So I can't say that specifically, but I can understand where that criticism comes from.
Definitely.
But again, well, I guess people do have the same issues with some of the male artists. I think it's a fair criticism, but the people in power are the people that you need to be asking.
That's
because there are dope female artists.
I think Nicki did comment, and she said it's all about female empowerment when it benefits your pets. Like, basically, kind of, to me, it seemed like she was talking to the labels. Yeah. Like, it's female empowerment when you want me to put your artist on or to put the stamp on your artist.
When there's a record coming out or album coming out or, exactly. And in a nutshell, that is capitalism. I will only push what's important when it benefits me.
So I think, too, like, we have to realize, like, the ins and outs of the industry. I think we just look at it of, oh, Nicki hating or this person hating or whatever, and it's like, that ain't always.
That's not always.
That's not always the case.
Yeah. So no, I love what Nicki's doing. For whatever, I don't care about the reason, and it didn't sound like to me. I think you got to believe what people say at face value, right? Nicki's not somebody that I know that has been known to lie, so she was trying to give them shine. I loved it. You know, it even though we're going to answer the question on who had the best verse, it doesn't even have to even be a question of who. It was a good song.
Well, I think, honestly, now that I will say is a fair, because I feel like we do that all the time.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
I don't feel
first,
like,
I want to acknowledge that it was a good song, because I think before you even get to the who had the best verse, let's acknowledge that all of them fit the song well.
And they all stepped to me.
Yeah.
I think I have to go through, I know Nicki at the end, she came with some bars. I can't lie.
I'm going to say that I thought Malibu Mitch had the better verse. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because Nicki then came back behind her and used her same flow. And I know how rapping goes, because I've been in studios plenty of times, that usually if it's your song, you wait till everybody else goes to see, okay, who ate and then all right, I got to make sure, I got to see what I can beat. So to me, and this is why competition is good, because what Malibu Mitch laid, it pushed Nicki to then go put what she did. But again, it wasn't by much.
And you said you like that about Kanye and Drake. They push each other, and that's how we get the best.
That's how you get the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
So competition can be good.
Definitely.
But we need to stop pushing for people to be in competition when they're not.
And stop acting like, the one thing I don't like it's one thing, like, we're going to compare. Everybody compares everybody.
Right.
But my thing is, people act like when it comes to the female rappers that you can only like one. Like, you have to pick a side. Like, it's like, either you like Nicki, or you like Cardi, or you like Meg, or you like you can't like all of them.
Two.
Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's... See, but it's a marketing tool. It's people got to understand, half this shit is marketing.
All of it, yeah.
Because like this, if you pit Jordan and LeBron against each other, then you either buying more Jordans, or you buying more LeBrons, or you watching more LeBron, or you watching more Jordan. So you have to, it's like you are picking a side. Same thing with the Republican and Democrats. It makes you feel like you only have a choice. One option. Yeah. And in reality, LeBron is signed to Nike. Jordan is signed to Nike as well. Jordan, or he has his own brand. So it's like both of them benefit because they always get put into the conversation of who's the best.
Yeah.
Who's the greatest. And it benefits them both. Same thing to me with like the whole Nicki thing. Like when it was Nicki and Cardi, you can like both.
You can.
But if you have a competition, then it's, I'm riding hard for one, I'm riding for her no matter what. I'm buying, streaming, listening.
Yep.
Or I'm buying, streaming, listening. So you're streaming the both. And I mean, you saw that it worked well when who was that went against? It was Kanye and 50.
Yep.
You both went about albums.
Yeah. You went to go. You gonna listen to both.
You gonna listen to both.
Because you have to listen to both to decide which one is better.
Yes.
So that's what literally ends up happening. I feel like the same thing. Like I said, we let Drake and Kanye, they beef every time.
Right.
They albums is finna drop.
Well, and then when they both dropped, then the Kanye fans felt like, I gotta support Kanye, and the Drake fans felt like, I gotta support Drake.
Yeah. But again, a lot of people want to be able to compare the albums, so they listen to both.
So they gotta stream both.
At the end of the day, they both won.
Or they're streaming it to see, what did you say about him?
Yep. Or
and then you're streaming it 4 or 5 times. Oh, let me rewind it. Did he say this? Did he say that? And it's like, the labels do that on purpose.
Absolutely.
So, and I mean, that happened, and we don't have to get too much into it, but it happened with Lil Kim and 50 Cent. Yeah. So Lil Kim was on the Plan B remix. She said, sounded like it was a diss, but it was a diss towards a man. The whole song is about men.
Yeah,
so she's talking about it. So she's talking about an ex-boyfriend, and 50 commented basically saying, oh, Nicki, don't let this slide, or something of that nature. Basically making it seem like she was talking about Nicki.
Again, stirring up
the controversy. Drama. But 50 is a master of marketing.
Yeah. He crazy.
So what's gonna happen is, and Lil Kim got a little mad, but see what they need to understand is, though, it's and I hate that it's good, but it is good because now more people are gonna listen to the record. Yeah,
because honestly, I didn't even know that had dropped. Or not, it didn't drop yet, but I didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, okay, well, now you want to go see what she said.
Yes.
And so I'm like, it does definitely, it works. I don't really have a problem with it if the music is good. If the music is good, well.
What's that artist from Houston? That
rapper.
Man, it was the song about riding dirty.
Chameleonaire.
Chameleonaire. Okay. Yeah, so he has a story about 50 Cent where 50 Cent dissed him on a record, and then they saw each other at a festival in like Europe, somewhere overseas. And then he came out to him, he was like, why did you diss me? And then he was like, you missed the alley-oop. He said, if you would have dissed me back, then they would have bought 4 or 5 times your record. I was hot at the time. I was trying to give you an alley-oop.
That's
how 50 be thinking. So a lot of time when people are like, oh, 50 just being a bully, sometimes 50's thinking like 2-3 steps ahead. And it is annoying, but that's just how he thinks sometimes.
I think too, like, again, he's one of those things, like, you just accept that he gonna troll. Like, he's a troll for sure. Like, he knows he's a troll.
Yeah.
So I just really kind of don't.
Well, and Lil Kim and 50 Cent got history. After the Candy, what was it, Candy Stick?
Oh, I forgot. Candy Shop?
No, Magic Stick.
Magic Stick.
After
I
that,
forgot about
they've
that.
had beef since then.
Dang.
So anytime he has an opportunity to poke the stick, he gonna try to poke it.
He gonna poke the bear every time.
Gonna poke the bear. So
that's crazy. I mean,
and Lil Kim fell for it. But again, you can always, to me, marketing and all that is always taking advantage of a perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
So, and they say that no bad promo is still good promo.
Yeah, I think she's definitely trying to avoid rehashing the beef with Nicki Minaj, though.
Yeah,
I think,
and I don't even understand where that beef. Well, I'm sure if I did the research, I can figure it out.
Yeah, I've seen some interviews of basically like Lil Kim was saying that in the beginning, before Nicki really came out, she was like working with Young Money. That was supposed to all be like kind of coming together, and like basically the ideas that she had and the sound that she was getting ready to go with is the sound that Nicki ended up going with. And I guess it was like, I don't know who it was, but it was a producer that kept coming to the studio that was working with her that ended up working with them. So a lot of people were saying her beef is really with that producer.
Got it.
So
okay.
I don't know. I got to look more into it, but I was like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense. But I mean, at the end of the day, I like where female rap is going.
Oh, for sure.
I know we about to talk about the Saweetie and Careesha interview, and she mentioned it in her interview where she was saying that she likes to find the rap girls that are just coming up and collab with them.
Yeah.
And I think that's dope.
Well, and I love the fact that artists that don't get to shine are able to shine. Like now, I want to go listen to Malibu Mitch, to Akbar V.
I never heard of Malibu Mitch.
No, I've never heard of Mitch. So I was saying I think
or Katie Got Bands.
That was always the beef, was give them some shine. And I think if there's anything that people knock Drake for a lot of things, but that's one thing that Drake does do is he introduces artists that
I never would have seen.
Yeah. So
no lie.
I will give him that credit because he does give a shine. And he does benefit because it exposes him to a market that
I feel like it keeps him fresh. It keeps him in front of what's new and what's hot, and like what's new and what people is listening to. Because I didn't even know who I want to say was it Lil Baby. I feel like he put me on Lil Baby.
He definitely, yeah.
I want to say Quando Rondo. I can't remember. It's a couple of people that I feel like Drake mentioned or put me on.
Some of the Afrobeat artists, yeah.
Yeah.
I trust me. I am totally.
Bruh.
Oh man.
I'm screaming.
We gonna just edit that out.
We're gonna have to edit that out. Can you sit up? Cause you snoring hella loud. Like hella. I can hear you in my earphones.
All right. We're gonna transition. You know what, man? I'm totally tripping. Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, we forgot to talk about Queen Elizabeth.
I don't know if it was on purpose or if it was on accident. So
I mean, she deserved to be skipped.
Seriously. All right. So Black Twitter, Irish Twitter, India Twitter, Jamaica Twitter, we all banded together for this cause right here. Queen, I think you would have to be living under a rock to not know this. So Queen Elizabeth II died at 96 today.
You would have to be Stacey Dash not to know.
You know what's funny is that she posted and she said, I don't know if somebody just made it up, but she posted and she said, like, she made a joke about it. She said, Queen Elizabeth II died, you guys, just in case you didn't know.
I'm weak. I'm weak.
Queen Elizabeth died. I really ain't got nothing to say about this because you guys know how I feel about white supremacy and all of the legs and arms of how it reaches and how it's affected our people. And the Queen of England has been an extension of that.
They need to do away with the monarchy. But again, it ain't mine. I don't live there. So
yeah, and just how it's affected us, just the transatlantic slave trade, all of the colonies and taking land from the Aboriginal people from Australia to the Caribbeans to Americas to South Africa, just how many people they've affected and how much wealth that they've obtained through that is crazy, to the fact where I didn't even know this, but which is understandable. We already know how this goes. So, they didn't pay out no reparations, but they paid out for the people who own slaves to make up for the loss of property.
For the loss, that's crazy.
Quote unquote. They did not finish that until like 2015.
That's insane.
So, I know people are mourning her and all this other stuff, but the fact that they are paying for the loss of property, black people,
human people,
as of the latest as 2015, while she's still in office or in reign or on the throne or I don't know how you want to say it.
Right.
It's crazy.
That's insane.
And not one push for reparations, not one push for trying to fix it, not one push for nothing. And to the point where I did not know this either. And, this is why we have to have the whole diaspora on this podcast. There are 6 countries that are still under Commonwealth, like Jamaica, some of the, I know Barbados just like exited from them. And I think that Jamaica's trying to exit 2025. So they're still trying to gain their independence.
That's insane.
So
and black people sitting up online.
Yeah.
Mourning,
I'm not trying to hear none of that. I'm not trying to and you can have sympathy, but still have the facts. The facts are the facts.
Yeah.
You like DL, and I gotta pull this up. DL Hughley was like, we're showing no humanity. And my thing of is, well, where is the humanity for us?
Come on.
You're worried about one person where this is affected. Like, I think the estimated amount of people that they sold or bought during the transatlantic slave trade was 3 million Africans. And that's just that. We're not talking about anything else. And so where's the humanity for them? Where's the humanity for their families? Where's the humanity for all of the things that they've done? Again, in Australia, they took land from the Aboriginal people and have not given it back. Where's the humanity for them? And you were in office. You were on the throne for what, 70 years?
You had plenty of time to.
You didn't feel
You even had plenty of time to right your wrongs.
You had no empathy. You had no sympathy. You had no compassion. Nothing. But we supposed to have empathy and I do.
That's sad.
I do. I feel sad that she lived a long life. She died. Okay, you were 96. That's a full life. You had plenty of wealth, plenty of opportunity to make your rights, to right your wrongs. And no, to the point where your own son left because of racism. Am I wrong?
Yep.
So you can have compassion, you can have empathy, but you can also respect your ancestors and what happened to them.
Facts.
Black people are always expected to be overly forgiving.
I was like, we always expected to, like, so we were saying with the rap girls, like, why do we all have to be the ones to kumbaya, and everybody else get to, have they have their way, but we got to kumbaya.
I just find it funny that like, even when it comes to racism, why are we always asked how to fix racism? We ain't the ones being racist.
Yeah.
Go ask the people who can actually do something about it. Like, oh, what are you supposed to do about racism? How can we fix racism? How can we fix? We ain't the ones that's doing the racism.
Yep.
So let me read what DL Hughley said, because I don't want to misquote the brother. Where is the quote? Mr. DL Hughley. And it's funny that he be the main one. You be the one talking about people. You be the one at your shows be joking about people on the stand-up.
Yeah.
But then now you trying to police the jokes. Come on, dog.
That's why I said people be picking and choosing when jokes is okay to fly.
Okay, let me see. Okay, here we go. Okay. This is DL Hughley condemned Black Twitter. That's the last thing you're gonna do. Look, y'all older people, older celebrities, whatever, when you tell Black Twitter not to do something, they gonna just do it like times 10.
Times 10.
I don't know why they haven't learned that yet. But all right. He says, I think that anybody that holds the idea that you can't be sad for somebody when they pass on, I think lacks a level of humanity, said the comedian. So what I'm assuming is that he probably posted something saying that he was sad that she died, and people probably were under his comments saying, "Why are you, the jokes and why are you sad and the things of that nature." And you know what?
I think what people have to realize is,
but
sometimes you could I'm just minding my business. Same way, like when certain things come up and it come out that a dude was, against dark skinned women or against black women, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna mind my business. Like, so you don't have to be vocal about everything.
But so why are we sad? Why should we be sad? I really want to know that answer. I'm sorry. I don't see why you should be sad.
You could be sorry for her family, because she did have loved ones, regardless of who she was as a person. She did have loved ones. So I can feel sorry for.
I can have some empathy for your family for sure.
Right.
And maybe it is insensitive to joke about somebody's death because their family members may see it, kids and grandkids, and I can see that, but that didn't seem like that was the.
But at the end of the day, even if they are, knowing what I know is just not my fight to take up. I'm sorry. I'm just going.
Then once again, where is the empathy for our ancestors?
Like I said, I'm gonna mind my business.
I don't see no white people having empathy for any of the slaves or the people that were affected or still being affected by slavery.
Well, their answer is always, it was so long ago.
And you're feeling sorry for somebody that all of their wealth has been obtained from that. Like, they are the royal family because of us.
Amen.
Come on, man.
A mess.
I don't want to hear that shit. Same thing with the damn. We ain't even gonna get that. Okay.
Moving on.
Did we do It's a Bop or It's a Flop for Ari? I think we all agreed
it's clear. It's a bop.
Okay.
And Super Freaky Girl remix.
It's a bop.
It's a bop.
It's a bop on both. Okay. I got to get a sound effect for the It's a Bop or found. Yeah, I got to get something like that. All right. Cool. So we did the Queen. Okay, we did we did Nicki.
We had Careesha.
We did Careesha. Oh, okay. So we're on the internet win. Okay, internet wins again. Let's go ahead and get, because this is gonna be a fun conversation. Let's go ahead and get into this. Internet wins again. Hey, worked on the first time. Internet wins again, where we talk about the hottest internet topics and things that are going on across Twitter and Instagram, social media, all in general.
Today.
So go ahead.
We getting into Caresha Please, which is her podcast. And today she was interviewing Saweetie. And I would have to say, Careesha, I like her setup. Mm-hmm. And I like how she ain't afraid to ask the questions. Like, yeah. I really appreciate that, because she gonna keep it real.
I think when she gets in her groove, like, she hasn't caught her interview groove yet. Mm-hmm. But it's still dope content. I love the idea. You know, you can tell that when people be drinking a little bit, that they get a little bit looser as the podcast goes on.
She don't care. When she said, so how did you feel when he took your car back? I was screaming. I was like, for real?
Yeah.
It really gives Caresha Please.
Exactly. So hold on. Let me. Well, I don't got that clip, but the clip that's been going around is the Quavo clip. So we gonna listen. We gonna listen to that really quick, and we gonna see what she had to say.
Did Quavo ever cheat on you?
Huh?
Did Quavo ever cheat on you?
You know, I think the past is just the past, and I moved on since then.
Did you think our relationship was toxic?
I think we had a lot of, growing pains together.
I feel like when I looked at y'all, I just loved y'all together. Like, y'all had chemistry. Y'all was so cute.
Girl.
I loved him. Y'all had just spent Valentine's Day together. So cute. Your birthday party.
No, I thought we was gonna spend, the rest of our lives together. Mm-hmm.
You think that with every nigga. Like, you get a nigga, y'all be in love, and he's like...
With him, I just knew it was the one. It was different.
So what was the end? Like, why y'all envy y'all relationship?
Just differences.
Why you...
I feel like
hold on.
She kept it real cute.
Before I tell this to anybody, it's so hilarious. When you ask somebody and they say, huh?
That was the answer.
That's the answer.
Did he ever cheat on you? Huh?
That means yes. Because when you say huh, you were trying to...
You heard it.
Trying to get more time to answer correctly. So he did cheat.
We know that.
Okay, we already knew that. And yeah, she tried to keep them answers real cute.
She kept it cute. I think too, like if you watch the rest of the interview, she definitely, I feel like what I respect is like you could definitely tell she's taking the time to focus on her, which we say people need to do after relationships.
For sure.
Like she's definitely more on an introspective tip, more so on a is me season tip.
Yeah.
And not on a me season tip of I'm just finna be out here wilding. Like she said, I kind of been in the background. I kind of been low key because I'm working on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect that.
What I found interesting about that clip, and I want to ask you this question, is the relationship goals, right? So, we do this a lot, right? So when she asked what happened and she kind of evaded the question, then the first thing she went to was, well, y'all look cute together. I really liked how y'all looked. I really liked looked like y'all had good chemistry. Y'all had good energy. But then we saw the elevator clip.
Come on now.
So it's like,
and if y'all don't know the elevator clips, they was fighting over like a bag, and
it was
it was giving toxic.
It was well, and then she asked her that, was it toxic? She said we were going through a growing pain. And you know what? There is a difference.
Yeah,
there is a difference. So I wasn't in their relationship, but I want just to make this a point that just because you look cute or you look good together does not mean that you should be together.
We said that on the I want to say either the Keeping It Real clip where we talked about people be more concerned, or a lot of women be more concerned about what it looks like you got going on versus what it actually is. And even in the interview, she said that I thought he was the one I could see 10 years down the line. To me, that's just another form of dating potential, because you're dating the potential of what you think it can be in the future. Like, what about what's going on right now, though?
Yeah.
You looking at the kids that we could build this, we could have that.
Well, and then she kind of contradicted herself after that, because she said, I just loved him. And if he even was, I think she said a bus driver or something, she said.
A mail carrier, she still would have loved him.
Yeah, I still would have loved him. But then she said, I got used to the luxury. Because when she asked him about how did she feel about when he took the car away, and she said, "Oh, girl, I had to go get it." And then what she say, a rose?
Yeah,
a rose. What she said, because I got too used to the luxury. So,
well, I mean, I think I took that as like, if like for me right now, I had a Honda Civic. Now that I got a Lexus, I don't think I'm gonna go back.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, but don't make it seem like that the money was not a factor in your guys' courting and your relationship. That was part of who he was. Because that's who when you look at Quavo, what is he's always,
and Migos in general, like they walking around with like bags of hella money.
So that's part of who he is. So for you to say, and I get that you said that you loved him as a person, but how you were introduced to him was with the flash and the money and the stuff like that. So, but I agree with you that she has that her introspectiveness, and it seems like that she's at a place where she's growing more wise.
Yeah.
And I can tell that a lot of her answers were very calculated, and she made sure that she was protecting the people that she was asking questions about. That is a perfect example of being media trained.
I think so.
And I don't even know if she's media trained. I just think she's intelligent enough to not fall into those traps.
I think so too. And I think a lot of times, if you're in a place of being introspective, how I talked about my breakup when me and my husband was broken, how I talked about it before I had actually healed was much different.
Right.
Because I feel like afterwards, when you've actually took accountability for your part, for the things that you did, the things that you overlooked or whatever, I think you kind of, the way you approach the conversation around it is a little bit different.
It's a different perspective.
Definitely.
Yeah. Because when you're in it, you're speaking from a place of hurt. When you're looking back on it, then you're like, okay, I could have done these things better. I thought he was the one, but maybe he wasn't. And, you can tell that she still got some feelings for him.
I think she too, like she mentioned a lot of times, like she's never really been single. Like she's always been dating. And I think sometimes for people when they're in relationships, if you've always been in a relationship, even if you do love the person that you with and you see a future with them, I feel like a lot of times you overlook things because you don't want to be by yourself. Yeah, you see the future, but you ignoring these red flags because you're not used to being alone. So I think this is her first time, like she said, actually sitting with herself.
Yeah, that's true. And I think when you date, it's just like when you drive a car. You're not supposed to look 20 feet down the road. You need to look at the road that's in front of you. So when you're looking at 10 years down the road, I mean, you should glance at a time and see this person has a potential to be that. But when you're so focused on the future and you're not seeing what's going on now, you can lose, you can kind of lose sight of perception
because you're looking
of what's
at
going
the
goal.
fairy tale,
It's
the
the
goal.
goal.
And
Yeah.
you're not looking at the right now, like, oh, the goal. I still want to get there. So if I leave this, you know what I mean? If I pay attention to these red flags, I ain't gonna get there.
Exactly.
So, yeah, no.
Okay. I'm going to pull up this clip with them talking about shutting down during dating. Talked a lot about relationships, but I liked it. It was dope.
So how do you feel when they say like women emotionally check out, like they check out emotionally before they do like physically? Do you believe in that? Like, do you check out in your head before you show it? Like,
Yeah, I think I do check out emotionally because I be trying to hold on as long as I could. And then after I just check out, I be like, what a nigga's at?
I know, like for me, I know when it's done, I start looking at how a nigga eat, how he walk. I'm like, I hate the way he walk. I hate the way he eat. I'm like, ugh, like, and it's like, it's so bad to the point I'm aggravated. It's like, I don't want you next to me.
Have you ever like peeped what he was really doing and just kept it to yourself? And then that's what makes you aggravated? Because that's how I feel. Like I'll find out something, keep it to myself, make sure I get a little bit more evidence, but then he just becomes hella annoying to me.
Yeah, I feel like it done been plenty of times where I know what's going on, but I don't say that because I'm like, so how do you feel when they say like women?
Okay.
I don't see the point in that.
And the point of what?
The point in holding on to information, all of that. I just, maybe because I'm older now, if I get a piece of information, like I don't need like, bruh.
No, he good. He good. Go ahead. You said that you don't see the.
I just don't see the point in doing that. Like it's not healthy. And I feel like when you get to that point of gathering information, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that happens before that, before you get to that point. So I'm the type of person, like, before I get to that point, I've already started doing what I feel like I need to do. Either we're going to address the root of the problem or what's not working. But I don't, like, when you get to that gathering information point, it was a whole lot of other shit that happened before that.
Yeah, I can't speak on that as a woman. As a human, I can understand that. Only time I can see that would be plausible is if the information you have was not conclusive.
Yeah.
If it looked away, but it may have not been away, and you like, okay, I need to kind of see what this was about.
But even in that, I'm addressing it.
Well,
You said I'm saying I'm addressing it with the person.
If they think that the person that they're going to address it with is going to lie, then they feel like, to me,
that's again, that's a red flag
I know.
Like, you don't trust this person.
All I'm doing is I'm just explaining. I'm not saying I agree.
No, I get what you're saying.
I'm just saying I can see why. I can see where that thinking leads to. If I ask this nigga, he ain't going to tell me the truth. So I'm going to find the truth out on my own. But to me, if you, like you said, if you already going down that road.
If you already looking for something either already happened or there's a reason for you to not trust.
You have to trust your intuition and your gut. If your gut telling you that something ain't right, and you find some information that kind of says something ain't right, then to me, if you not married or if you're not in a situation where, you are in a committed relationship, which I guess they were, Quavo and her, I don't know.
They was together.
I don't know.
But my thing is, I do believe that women are kind of programmed to not trust their intuition. Like, men don't want us to trust our intuition because a lot of times it be right. So I feel like a lot of times, like, we're either told we're tripping or we're, overthinking things. Like, we're always kind of like made to be, for lack of a better word, crazy.
It's gaslighting.
Basically, yeah. Basically like gas. And I feel like so many women have been through situations like that to where you really have to rebuild trust with yourself, because it's not just a man breaking your trust. It's you breaking your trust with yourself. Like, a lot of women have to rebuild trust within themselves because they allowed a man to break that down.
Yeah, I can see that. I think that's a good point. I will say, though, but shutting down emotionally does not do anything for anybody.
But I think once a woman gets to that point, it's like what she said. She said, because I hold on for as long as I can. You should have been left. That's why you're to the point of shutting down emotionally.
But that's what I'm saying. If you are emotionally shut down in a relationship, why are you still in the relationship?
You should have been gone.
And they said that they emotionally shut down before they physically shut down. So it's like you are, it's kind of like The Walking Dead. You there, but you're not there. So it's like it doesn't do you a service, and it doesn't do the service of the person that you're with, especially if you haven't addressed it, because it could be something that could be fixed, or it can't be fixed. Either way, you need to make a decision.
I think a lot of times with women, especially kind of like where that conversation was going, it's the lack of trust. There's really honestly, a lot of times it's not, you ain't coming back from that.
As I've gotten older, once trust is broken, trust can be rebuilt.
It can.
But typically, when trust is broken, respect is lost, and it is very difficult to get back from that.
Absolutely.
So, and again, and I don't want to make it seem like that they're saying that's what you should do. I think they're just being transparent, saying that's what I do, and I need to do different.
Right.
Because I think that's what she said after that, was that I need to, have a little bit of better. But I just want to make this point too. These are successful women that are dating elite men that are having the same issues that everybody else is.
Are they really elite? I think, again, I've said this many times.
Well, hold on.
Just because you got money.
When I say elite, I'm not saying elite character-wise. I'm saying elite as far as status.
If you don't have character, you ain't elite to me. And I said that.
No, yeah.
What was the saying? High value? You're not high value if you don't have high value character.
Correct. But society deems them to be high. So when I'm saying that, I'm saying the men that you are saying that you want, these are women that have access to those men that are having the same issues. So you need to be, character needs to be higher on the list.
You need to really prioritize character, because there's so many men that look good on paper.
Yeah. That
just ain't got the character to back it up.
Well, we're going to say people. There's a lot of people that look good on paper. But yeah, for the context of this conversation, yes, there are a lot of men that do a real good job of being a mannequin. They look real good. They got the clothes on, right? They got everything looks good, but there's no substance.
Yep. And I think a lot of times the problem with that with men and women is when you have those things, you got the outer, you got the, the job, the this, the that, everything that makes you look good on paper. I feel like they don't feel like they got to have good character or work on themselves. Like, I think they kind of blind to some of their shortcomings because, okay, but I got A, B, and C. Okay, but yeah, that don't mean I have to put up with.
Well, yeah, and you typically have yes people around you that don't make you be a better person.
Mm-hmm. They're not gonna call you
because they only want access to your resources and not they don't care if you yell at them or verbally abusive, because it's like, well, if I don't, then I'm gonna have to go back to the way I used to live. You know what I mean? Like, I want still access to that. So
they want to keep co-signing you so that when it comes to when
they need something, that they'll be able to have access to it. Absolutely. All right, we're gonna talk about this sex talk, because they talk about a lot of sex.
Have you ever faked a nut?
I think you know the answer based on my response. But as I get older, I don't do that no more. I'm very honest.
Really?
Either you understood the assignment or you didn't.
Really?
Really?
Because you gotta think, a nigga gonna brag about you too. So I would hate to send them off with the wrong message. Oh, he thought he did something. If you don't do nothing, then I'm gonna let you know.
I feel like I don't know so much. So it's I just recently started coming off sex, but for so long I didn't. I'm just more of a dick pleaser, so it's as long as you get your nut, I'm good. But I'm
for real.
Yes.
What?
I was like that. I normally just come off here. In most niggas. Have you ever faked a nut?
Look, I was really actually, you know what? I was shocked, but then I wasn't shocked when Careesha said that.
Oh Lord.
I'm like, Careesha.
City girls down.
Look.
Ain't no hot girl summer going on in that bedroom.
And she said she is a dick pleaser. I'm like, ma'am, no.
I ain't mad at it.
Of course you're not mad at it, but I'm like, no, ma'am.
I can see
Don't
why.
Be putting that in the
I can see why Diddy was after her.
I'm sitting here like, Careesha. But you know what? Honestly, it's crazy because I could relate with both of them. It's not until you get older that you start to be like, this ain't right. And you start feeling more comfortable being like, no, I don't like that. Or we've had this conversation.
No, but there's new people listening, so let's have a conversation.
We've had this conversation about 70% of women not orgasming from penetration is not uncommon. I just feel like it's being more talked about now. And I'm glad it's being more talked about because I feel like young women should know this from the beginning and not have to learn, like she said, through experience over time.
Right. And then she also said that Saweetie said that she wished she had an older sister that could teach her.
Exactly. That could have told you like, nah.
Yeah.
You know, it's sad, but I mean, I'm just glad that it's more talked about now.
So yes. And I will say this, that, you know, and these conversations, I hate these conversations because where it leads to, it's always whose fault. Is it the man? No, because it usually does happen. It's because, if niggas was better at fucking, then this and this and that. Well, I'm telling you, I see the comments and I've heard the Clubhouse conversations where if niggas knew what they was doing, this and this and that.
I don't think
there needs
that.
to be. I know, but I'm just saying on this podcast, I don't want it to be that. There needs to be a marriage here. Women need to be more vocal and need to be able to communicate. And when men are not missing, when men are missing the mark, say it.
I think that's that's exactly what I just said. That's why I was saying I'm glad it's being talked about more because that is the
but
root.
Being talked about could be talked about amongst women.
But I'm saying that empowers women.
No, I know
to then
talk about it. But it's still, the conversation needs to happen with who you're with.
I think it does, but I feel like the reason why it needed to happen with women first is because until you know that information, you're silent about it because you feel like it's something wrong with you. You think it's only you.
Yeah. But I still think there's women that are scared to have the conversation with their men.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've always been taught to stroke his ego, make sure he's good, blah, 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 right? Which for us...
That's what she just said. I was a dick pleaser. As long as you got yours, like, no, ma'am.
But for a lot of men, our confidence is based on if we are pleasing you. So if we are not pleasing you, a healthy man would be okay with you saying, hey... And it doesn't, don't chop them down. Just say, this is what pleases me more. This is what I like. Let me show you my spots. Let me show you what I like, how I like it, how, the speed, or hey, I'll be more vocal in the bedroom to tell you what I like and what I don't like. Being quiet about it ain't gonna help nobody because he has a false sense of confidence and you not being satisfied. And then, I mean, if you want to live a life of being unsatisfied, then that's fine. But, bring in some talk. I mean, that conversation we did have, but just, it needs to be an open, honest dialogue. We always talk about intimacy, but you can't be intimate if you're not being honest.
Absolutely.
Or transparent. So,
I got another question.
And hold on. And ladies, a lot of men would be more receptive to hearing that. Again, nobody's saying to kill his confidence by saying that you trash in the bedroom. But hey, can we try some different things? Can we? This is, again, just tell him what you like. And a good man that aims to please his woman will then do those things that please him. But it needs to be some reciprocation too, though. Because you know what? There's a lot of men that don't talk either. And
I was just about to say that. I was like, that's another question, is that they're not having those conversations either. And then on the other tip, she had asked, she was like, do you moaning or quiet? A lot of men be quiet, and I don't understand that. Like, when you have conversations with men about moaning, it's like, that's like, it's gay to moan or whatever.
Because
like,
they think women will call them soft for doing it. And if they will think it's embarrassing. From the conversation I've seen, women like it.
Exactly. So what if a woman didn't moan? What would you do?
Well, that happens often, actually.
Like, how would... Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. That happens. I've seen the conversation too, where again it's kind of like,
that's weird
because
to me.
And she even said it on the interview. I think that she said that at times that she knows it's her because she's in her head about it.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
She's self-conscious and she's like, I like. And I think she even asked her, did she like eye contact or not? And she was like, there's times I do. She said, but there's times I'm like, I don't want you looking at me because I feel some kind of way about it. And it's like, you're not comfortable in your own body and then in the bedroom. But she said that's why she feels like, Careesha said, that's why she feel like sex is so personal. And I said it before, a lot of times if women are not comfortable with you,
we are not going to be able to get there. And that's basically what she was saying.
Yeah.
And it was funny to me coming from a city girl, because we all know what the connotation of being a city girl is. But like she was saying, she felt like it was personal, and that is part of the reason why you be in your head. And again, it's not, if it can't be intimate, we don't necessarily always get there. It's not like men who could have sex, find somebody at the club, have sex tonight, and it be popping. So that's something to take into consideration.
Yeah. And I think men hearing that conversation, I think, helps some of the other issues that when it comes to sex. Because I had some of those conversations early. And actually, no, I did. But it wasn't to this extent. It was more or less as just like, actually, no, I didn't have the conversation. Honestly, it was just more intuition. Like, to me, it's just common sense. But to a lot of people, it's not. If I want you to enjoy sex, you have to be comfortable. If you tense, or if you overthinking, or you not comfortable, you're not going to be enjoying the experience as much. So, in my experience with having sex, if you were not comfortable, I didn't want to pursue the sex. I would say, hey, look, if you're not into it right now, it's good. We can do it on a different day. We can, whatever. Like, it doesn't have to be like I'm just doing my duty. Because men, I can tell the difference.
Are you talking about on a dating or on?
I'm talking about period.
I was about to say, because I feel like people assume that when you in a marriage that you always gonna want to do it.
Period. And honestly, that was something I had to learn too. Because you are typically shamed for having premarital sex. So then when you get married, you like, okay, now it's on tap. I can get it whenever I want, and it's going to be good. We're going to be into it. And to be honest with you, and I'm going to say it because a lot of people act like they know how marriage works, and it doesn't. It's not like that all the time. You think it will be, but it's not. And honestly, I think that is why some of the men in those situations get frustrated, because they're like, I'm finally able to have shame-free sex with one woman and enjoy it whenever I want to. And it's not like that, because you have to consider the other person's feelings. And the other person's, like, where they're at in life, physically, mentally, spiritually,
Even deeper than that, I feel like if you really get deep into women and women's cycle, like our cycle, there's different phases within our cycle.
I remember you telling me that, yeah.
And so there's going to be different ways that you should approach a woman, different things that will turn her on. There's going to be weeks where her sex drive is naturally hormonally low, and it's going to be where it's high. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times, a lot of women don't really understand their cycle or even track their cycle to know where they at in their cycle. So, I mean, of course, men don't know.
No.
You know what I mean? Because I just started researching this myself. Yeah. So it's like, if you think about your hormonal cycle, it's going to be different from time to time. And I think what women have to start getting more in tune with that and knowing ain't nothing wrong with you. Like, this is natural.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think you could work with it versus against it.
Yes.
Because right now, I feel like a lot of people don't realize where they're at. Like, sometimes when I can't understand, like, dang, I'm on 10. Oh, okay, it's my ovulation week. Of course I'm gonna be on 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's nature.
Or I'm on, okay, well, yes, I'm in the follicular phase, so I'm on 0.
Gotcha.
So I think too, like, women need to get more in tune with their bodies.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it would be helpful for a man to want to know that type of information too.
And I think they didn't talk about that per se, but they talked about knowing themselves.
Exactly.
And knowing their bodies. And then that, I think Saweetie said that when she finally started to be more comfortable in learning who she was, that then those conversations became more easy because she was more comfortable in her identity as a woman. And I think that's really what it needs to be, that as a full woman, that your sensuality is part of your womanhood.
Very much so.
And if you do not understand that, then there's going to be difficulties in physical intimacy. But I think you also need to know who you are personally, so that way emotionally that you can connect as well in those realms too. And I think, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I would think women for the most part want to emotionally connect before the physical. In a committed relationship. Obviously, there are women who just want to have sex, and I think that's always a misconception that, that is always men that are horny and women are not. No, both people. There are the same thing. But I think when you're in a committed or if you're dating, that, men got to realize that for us, we can compartmentalize sex and we can just have sex just to have sex. Women can too, but for the most part, there needs to be some courting, some foreplay, some trying to, gearing up to sex and not just, all right, let's, can we get a quick session in? Which I'm sure there's a place for that.
Yeah.
But I think that you get the best version of her when you are actually attentive to her needs.
Amen.
But a woman, again, women help us out by telling us what your needs are.
Mm-hmm. Get in touch. Get in touch with yourself. No, because you got to know.
You got to know you so you can tell us how to love you properly.
You have to be. You can't communicate your needs if you don't know what they are.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so they didn't end it on this note, but I wanted to just kind of give a synopsis of, kind of the gist of the interview, and this is them talking about women empowerment. So,
what pussy power means to you?
I actually got this song where I do talk about pussy.
Mm-hmm.
Pussy power to me, it means like, for one, it's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a utopia. It's sacred, it's supreme, and it's yummy. So I literally have a song where I break down what pussy means.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that we talking about it because I feel like with women like you, like I love looking at your stuff. You're so confident and you like exude feminine energy. And I wish more younger women tapped into that like at a younger age because I think we learned that through experience, you know?
Right.
But pussy power to me is like not just sex, it's just your aura, it's your energy, it's everything.
I feel like you give that a lot too, because when I saw you performing on stage in them heels, I'm like, how the fuck, sweetie, performing in them heels? I would have been flipped over, and I feel like whenever you on stage, you so confident. You always got your hand out, you drop the low.
You do too, though.
You really like bring out. Like, I always say, like, when I'm on stage, I'm kind of, like, in my head. I'm kind of, like, shy a little bit. I have to, like, really take shots. Like, whenever I see you perform, you always just, like, drop it to the floor. You bring your attitude out and you, like, pop your shit. And I love that about you.
Well,
and I saw that in your rolling out performance.
Well, I be in my head, too. So thank you for telling me. But, like, with you and JT, like, I'm a real-ass fan.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when I see y'all on my, like, Explore page, on my timeline, like, I'll tap it and really look at it. Like, y'all give the same thing to me. Like, y'all hella sexy.
Hey, by the way, I love when you dance. I love
you. Okay, so you know how we was talking about earlier?
Okay, I'll stop it there. I think you guys can get the gist of it. Just genuinely showing each other love. I think that was dope. I think it's much needed. I think, just the conversation, how it progressed and, just the growth, the maturity. I think the marketing machine, again, paints the city girls or her as just, ratchet and things like that. But to hear her say, like, she gets in her head, that she's, second guessing herself and things like that nature, I think it's dope because it, again, just exposes that everybody's human. And just because things look a certain way, you don't know how many times somebody took a picture. You don't know how many times somebody had to redo a shot or an acting scene. And it may look confident to us because we see the finished product. But the bottom line is that at the end of the day, underneath all that, you are still human. And we all need encouragement. We all need to be cheered on. We all need to be appreciated. And again, just there's always that narrative that women don't get along, right? That two pretty women can't be in the same friend group. You know what I mean? Man, to hear them champion themselves and give them their flowers, and they did it at the beginning and they also did it at the end. I think was healthy. It was healthy. It was entertaining, and it was healthy dialogue as a man to listen to that kind of a conversation. So I'll let you kind of take the floor at that.
I think what I like most is just seeing different type of Black women get they flowers. And like I was saying earlier with Ari Lennox, if something is packaged a certain way, it's more digestible and more accepted. And I'm like,
right.
I like the hood girls. I like the ratchet girls. I like the, you know what I'm saying? I feel like there's only a certain type of Black women that we willing to listen to or willing to accept. So that's why I really like Careesha platform. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, she's just a regular girl from the hood. Like, you don't have to talk a certain way. You don't have to be a certain way to me to be able to be listened to or heard or respected. I feel like with Black women, we definitely get boxed in a lot of the time, where it's like, this type of Black woman is acceptable, this type of Black woman ain't.
Yeah.
And all of them have something to say. All of them have a story to tell. We all human. We all, you know what I mean? The same. And I really appreciate their whole conversation.
Yeah.
It was dope.
Yeah, it was dope. It was dope. So I got to give her her flowers.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Get a rap girls a chance.
And I think this is an example of podcasting done right.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think she has some room to grow, but these are the conversations that I think audiences, fans want to hear and get a little more insight. And I was kind of, I was combing through the comments, and it was pretty much all positive. Like, I didn't really see much negative commentary on the interview and the content that was there. And again, it was open, honest, transparent.
Mm-hmm.
So
and being herself, you know what I mean? Not being like,
yeah.
I think a lot of times when we get platforms, we feel like, okay, I gotta do
cater.
it like this, sound like this, make it look like this,
Yep.
for people to be able to listen. So it's like, no, just be you.
Just be you. Yep. And I think people connect to that better because, again, in intimacy, you have to be yourself. And as a fan or as somebody that's consuming your content, I want to be able to connect to who you are. And I think in these interviews, you're getting to know the guest more, but you're also getting to know her more as a person and the things that she, kind of goes through. So yeah, it was, again, I can't wait to see where she takes her platform, and hopefully she continues this. And it kind of like gives me motivation because, we out here grinding too. And I feel like that we're kind of in the creative space where we're trying to redefine the things that we do on this podcast. But I mean, I think we've had some pretty dope conversations in the past, but that is the lane that I want us to have, is the open, transparent content where people are able to get exposed and, learn in the conversation. 'Cause I think even in the conversation, I think she took from the I think they both took from the conversation. And I think those are the healthiest dialogues to me, is when both people take from it, but then also me listening to it, I can take from it as well. And as a man, even though there's a lot of things I can't relate to, but just on a human level, I can relate to a lot of the things that they're talking about. Relate to the relationships. I can relate to the sex. I can relate to, the shame or the fear of being discovered or whatever. And we can always put this confident persona or mask on. But again, at the end of the day, we all have anxieties and fears of things that we feel like that we won't do well.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting too. Like, I mean, we didn't play the clip, but when Saweetie was talking about how much anxiety she has around dating and being seen out in public with other men, I'm like, damn, that's sad. I think I talked about that, of how women have that, like, we have to date privately or under wraps, because like she said, she don't add another body to my body count because it's automatic.
Yeah.
So it was a good combo.
And I think we don't think about that when the blogs are posting it or whatever, when it's like, oh, such and such is dating them. And it's like, at the end of the day, yeah, you may be adding anxiety to them, where they feel like whenever they go out, and I think she said it, that she couldn't even sit to somebody when she was just sitting at a basketball game, that people were already like, oh, are you sitting next to such and such because you're dating them? And it's like, so we get to get the insight of how that feels.
Right.
Because we just see the celebrity, but we don't get to see like how that impacts them on an everyday basis.
And the answer is always, well, you know what you signed up for. Like, okay, regardless. These are still human beings, bro. Like, they can't feel away.
Didn't sign up to have anxiety when I'm dating.
Right. But that's people's answer. Like, you know what you were signing up for. You do, people was going to talk about you, whatever. And I'm like,
yeah. At
the end of the day, these are still human beings. I think people kind of forget that. Like, these people are not just for your entertainment and your content. These are still people living their life.
These are still people. Yeah. I mean, and that's why most people date in private in like regular life.
In real life, women have to date in private. Like, you only go public with the serious relationship.
So imagine if that choice was taken away from you, where you had no choice but to date in public.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was dope. I learned a lot about both of them, and I think we have to be open to hearing what everybody has to say. So, and on this platform, that's that's Black culture. And we cannot deny the contributions that Black women have brought to Black culture. So I'm here to celebrate Black women, here to celebrate all Black people from all places, all countries, ethnicities, all that kind of stuff.
All walks of life.
All walks of life. So yeah, it was dope. Queen vibes. This was a nice episode. Where are we at? This is what? Okay. So for those that are listening,
if you stay tuned all the way for the whole thing.
If you stay tuned for the whole thing all the way, we want to just appreciate you guys for listening, for just rocking with us, man. Just rocking with us. It is hard out here for creators. We are doing everything on our own. Ain't no help, ain't none of that. But I just want to just also give out the opportunity for those that feel like they have something to add to the podcast. If you're wanting to be a guest, we are starting to take submissions for season 4. So if you would like to be a guest on the Reverb Experiment podcast, go to reverbexp.com, and there is a link that says register as a guest. Just fill that out, and we will contact you after we get your submission. And I want everybody to stay safe, man. Take care of your mental health. Seeing all these news things where the guy was shooting people on the Facebook Live. There's the rolling blackout. You got fires in California. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Heat waves. So stay cool. I just want to make sure that everybody's like on the nation, and y'all gotta be on the nation. But we do a mental health check. Try to do it every Monday, just because there's a lot of craziness that's going on in the world, and we want to make sure that y'all cool. So we're gonna go ahead and sign out. We love y'all. Hopefully y'all enjoying the new platform, the new podcast, and we'll see